everybody, welcome. I'm Kelly from My Soulful Home and Decorating Tips and Tricks, the podcast. Today we're going to take a tour of my dining room, all dressed up for early fall. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the room functions in general, and then we'll get into the decor that I've added. So I want to introduce you to Edith. This is my girl Edith. She is my BFF, and I think she wonders a little bit what I'm doing all day, moving stuff around my house and taking pictures, but she doesn't care. She follows me all day long, up and down and back and forth. So she wanted to say hey today, and she'd be right by my side on the ground, so I thought I'd bring her up and introduce her. So here we are at the table, and I thought we'd start here in the center of the room. It's an oval table. An oval table works really, really well in a rectangle shaped room. You know, if you have small kids, it doesn't have any sharp edges and it just sort of softens the lines. Obviously, if the leaves were taken out, it would become a round table. A round table wouldn't work so well in a rectangle room, would work nicely in a square room or a smaller space. But with these two leaves, this table is absolutely perfect for this room. And you can see I don't have a lot of space around the chairs and the table. So, I didn't want to have a big giant square table where people, excuse me, rectangle table where people would be, banging their legs as they went by. Our dining room is situated sort of smack in the middle of the house. It's kind of, well, the kitchen is the heart of the home. This is kind of the epicenter because you have to walk in through the front door. And to get to the kitchen, you've got to go through here. So I had to be really conscious of how people were going to move around in the space. So this table, which I got at a Girl Scout yard sale for $75 and 2 boxes of cookies, is working really, really well. So let's talk about the centerpiece decor. I love to work in threes, as we talked about in the porch video. Vignettes are created in threes generally, and you should always have some three of something. And in here, I have three of the apples on either side, and I have three mason jars filled with flowers inside the trough, which is really making a nice low profile centerpiece. If people were sitting at this table and having dinner, I would obviously take that trough off and I could break up the flower arrangements and I could maybe put the three of them separately on the table without the trough, or I could put one. But because we're not sitting here right now for dinner and it's not set for that, having it in that is a really great way to showcase the flowers. And then I have the apples on either side. I always like to have candles on the table as well. I use them every night, whether we're sitting at this table or we're sitting casually in our kitchen eating area. I just grab the candlesticks and put them on whatever table we're using. Underneath the centerpiece and the apples and the candles, we have this runner, which is a grain sack runner that actually I'm selling in my Decorating Tips and Tricks shop. It's a reversible runner, reverses to a black buffalo check. So that is a really nice option. I think the buffalo check is kind of whimsical, and obviously the grain sack has more of a farmhousey look. So over here we have a Banquette. I bought this when we used to live on the eastern end of Long Island, and I just walked into this shop and I fell in love with it. And I'm so glad that I was able to use it in this house as well. So in here I have my candles and things like that. But up here again, you're seeing the repeat of the vignette structure. So it's the three items. This was a wedding present. This is something I picked up for $1 because it had no cap. And then again, bringing in the apple. So it's very organic and it's also playing with what's already on the table. So we're getting sort of that flow of not only objects, but also of the color throughout the room. I love to decorate with vintage books. So here's this little collection that I think just looks really nice all year round because they're so neutral, but it's nice for the fall as well. And this candelabra, there were two in the store. I really am kicking myself that I didn't buy both of them. I wouldn't have put them next to each other probably, but isn't it awesome? And so my suggestion to you is if you find something that there's two of, buy both of them if you love them, because you'll find some place to use them. The mirror above really brings in some light into this room and bounces it around. And I love how it reflects the chandelier. That's a Goodwill find. I like things chippy, and so you can clearly see how this is all chippy, but it definitely has the patina of age, even though it really is not that old. I think it just got clanked around in the truck or something before it landed at the Goodwill. Okay, so now we're in everybody's favorite spot, the settee. This was not supposed to be here. I was going to do some chairs and a little table, and it was but I couldn't figure out why would I have that in the dining room? Like, who's going to sit here? And then my husband, who is very good at furniture placement, but not a real decorator, said, why don't we take that piece of furniture you bought for the other room and see if it goes over here? And so we did, and then it never left. Everybody loves to sit here. The dogs, well, and I should take this opportunity to introduce you to Emmett. This is my boy Emmett. This is my first dog ever, and I just love him and Edith as well with all my heart. So Emmett is our protector, whereas Edith follows me around all day. Emmett's watching the house. So if you want to come by, you're going to have to get past Emmett first. So here we are on the settee. It is from overstock.com, which I love to shop on, and I have some layers on it. I mostly have some layers on it because this is a favorite spot of the dogs, but I really like the way that looks too, and it adds some texture and it also adds this cozy feel for the fall. So I have a furry, and then I have this other sort of linen-y cloth with the tassels hanging off here. Some pillows, mostly decorative, but it is nice to have some lumbar pillows. This is a long lumbar that we actually sell in the shop at Decorating Tips and Tricks. So if you're interested in that, you can pop over there and take a look. And then I love original grain sack. This I picked up at the Rose Bowl Flea Market, which is only about a mile from our house. So I'm really fortunate that I can go visit there kind of every month if I have time to make it. So this was left behind by the previous owner, and it was sort of a dark cherryish brown, and it had lots of scuff marks, and it just was the wood was not really in great shape. And I really wanted to use it. I mean, it's a spectacular piece, and I love all the carvings and whatnot. And I was hesitant to paint it, but I just thought, no, it needs to be refreshed. And I am so happy that we painted it white. This is Simply White by Benjamin Moore, and that is my favorite color, white. And most of my house is that color, the inside and the outside. I love the fresh look that this piece has taken on. And then I just filled it with white and crystal and my gold rimmed glasses. These are the wedding glasses that we don't ever really use because, quite honestly, you can't pour enough wine in there for me. So they're just pretty and they're here, and we use them for holidays. But at least I get to enjoy them by seeing them. And it's a secretary. It's not a traditional china cabinet, but obviously this part is acting like a china cabinet as well. And then under here, a roll top desk, and so I have my stationery and whatnot in there. And then in there, different plates and a dishware. So this piece was originally over there. There was a much bigger table in here that really didn't fit the space. You almost had to like vaporize yourself to get around. And then over here, the gentleman had these sort of church glass windows that he had, and it was all very dark, dark stained glass. And he had them just propped up against this little bump out. So it was a really, really dark and somber looking room. So we've really obviously brightened it up a lot, and then moved this piece over here. And I love how when you walk in, you can see it through the front entry. So with decorating a home, I think that you're really never done, but I like to think that it's complete at some point. So I believe that this house is now complete. I am not done. In fact, this space behind me, I have something that I'm working on to put there. When I take pictures of the space, I can really tell that it needs something there. So here's a great tip. If you are decorating your home and you just feel like you're just not really sure if you like what it's like, take a photo of it. Everybody can snap a photo so easily these days. A photo is going to tell you a lot more than your eye will see because your eye kind of fills it in. So when I was taking pictures of this room, I realized, yes, something has to go on that wall. But I'm not going to put anything on the wall over here because you do also need to leave some empty space. You need your eye to rest. You need some breathing room. So thanks so much for coming by for the tour of my dining room today. We're going to move on to the early fall kitchen tour, and I hope you join us for that. Thanks.